could do tours, you could do volcano guiding.
Yeah.
Had a monkey, I don't know, I just made that
Had a
up.
monkey.
But
Yeah.
you know,
My partner just hit me up and they're like, we're starting a real estate podcast. You're the guy. I was like, I don't have any time. They're like, we don't care.
our team is expanding, and I just threw it out there. I'm like, hey, who wants to be a part of this? Because we're growing. Somebody's like, how about Florida? I'm like, wow, that's an interesting conversation. We're seeing a lot of people go out there right now. And maybe something that's what I like to call Instagrammable.
Definitely Instagrammable.
What instances happened in your business that maybe triggered it that you wanted to start a team? From wine country to cottage country, real estate is all about lifestyle. I'm Andrew Perry, and welcome to That Fine Life. All right, welcome back to That Fine Life pod. I am your host, Andrew Perry. This is the podcast where we interview entrepreneurs, realtors, influencers now. Look at this guy. And we ask the hard-hitting questions. We really want to know what it takes to live that fine life. My guest today is Matt Campoli.
Thank you so much.
Cue in the claps.
That's good. If you're out there, you better be clapping, please.
So
Just my mom.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
this
thank you
is
for having me.
I've always wanted to have you on because you know I was on your podcast, Price to Sell. Thanks for the hat, by the way.
Very
I appreciate it. And you know, ever since then, I was like, you know what? Because I always listen to your show, and you have like fucking like 5 other ones too, I guess, right? You can lay them out for me.
Yeah.
So, well, because every time I look at a new podcast, it's like co-host Matt Campoli. I'm like, how does that work? Where are you? Do you do them live, like on a plane? Anyways, so I was like, okay, so I've heard so much from this guy. I want to have him on so that I can ask you some questions.
Yep.
So anyways, thanks for coming on. Price to Sell. Let's start there.
Sure.
Let's just start there.
Sure.
When did that start?
That was like a mid 2021 thing.
Yep.
Wasn't my idea.
Okay.
It was my partners, the Neighborhood Creative. It was Anthony Ernesto. Shout out to them. They have a really successful podcast, Money Buys Happiness.
Yep.
And I was doing my It's Simple podcast, which was the one you see me co-host on.
That's right.
So that one started in March. February, right before COVID. So my birthday, 2020, pre-pandemic, we just saw like, okay, there's not many like podcasts out there in Toronto at the time. So we just came out. We started like winging it, recording 4K
Is that
on our
the one
iPhone.
in a condo unit with the windows?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So that was more just entrepreneurial. And then, anyways, my partners on Price to Sell, they just hit me up and they're like, we're starting a real estate podcast. You're the guy. I was like, I don't have any time. They're like, we don't care.
Yeah.
You're doing this.
You're
I'm like,
doing it.
all right, let's adapt. Let's figure it out. Best thing I ever did. Like I don't even know how I said no or even somewhat of a like negative response to it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. And it's been awesome for the career, for everything. So super grateful for that podcast, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the Neighborhood Creative Crew is they own that. It's like a media company essentially, right? And now they're kind of mixed in with the Nelk Boys.
Yes, they are.
Yeah?
They're signed on by Full Send, yeah.
I love it.
I
So
know,
what does
yeah.
that mean for you?
I don't know.
I'd be pushing, man. I'd be pushing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we joke around here and there.
Yeah. Something's got to happen soon, man. I bet you.
They're still in their infant stages with them.
Right.
I don't feel like we're in a position that they're going to start like, you know, they're still showing their worth, which they're doing an amazing job at.
Absolutely. I've been following them. It's crazy.
Yeah, future's bright. There's like so many doors that can open, you know, so.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then so, and I could be way off. But I don't think I am because I'm a smart guy. Was there a barber podcast or did you say that? Were you a barber before?
I was a barber, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a barber podcast?
No, but I had, like my clients would joke around because the conversations that we would have, it was in my basement, right? So it was like super private. The conversations were super private and I know everyone's shit. But yeah, we just joke around like you should have a barber podcast. At the time, obviously I didn't do it, but I feel like my ability to hold conversation stems from my barbering.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to teach my guy a little something.
In at the barber side?
Yeah.
I will.
In the conversations.
Yeah.
No, I love going to the barber. The one that I go, like the actual barber that I go to. I've got a great salon that I go to. Shout out to a Symbol Salon. But the barber where you get the whole neck and you get this and that.
You need the hot towel, man.
That's something. But those types of conversations that I have with the barber when he's like putting all this warm, nice, you know, lather on my face.
You don't want to talk.
I'm like, you know what? Let's just leave it for now.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it for now. So then, so what are some of the other podcasts that you're affiliated with? How does
just
that?
those two.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've
Okay.
just been on as guests.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now you're taking those podcasts on tour with you,
Yep.
or is that field trips?
Yeah,
Is that
so
different?
field trips is intertwined with price to sell. So
Okay.
it's just like, how can we take price to sell to a new level? And I wanted to branch out of the Ontario market and start to hit up realtors in other spaces. And I said, while we're at it, since I'm going to these beautiful destinations, why not tour one of these realtors' properties? So kind of like mixed in both. So we're going and doing a video tour of the entire house, and then we're sitting in that house or condo, and we're doing a podcast with that agent. So that's evolved a little bit too now. We're just, kind of testing the water to see how it works. But it's been fun, and like being able to see some crazy places,
And so, because I had that idea a couple of years ago too. I'm like, I called up. Am I allowed to say competitors on the? Yeah. So I called up Drone Hub, who actually trained Sam, by the way. So let's. Anyways, they were like exploding in the American market. I'm like, guys, like, let me come with you. Let me interview these people. They'd done the work with Aaron Kerman. A bunch of really, really top luxury realtors in the States. I'm like, I gotta get, but then I'm like, wow, that costs a lot of money. Because in the beginning stages, nobody's paying you. You're paying for it all.
Sure.
So it's like, so I commend you for doing that, because it's not easy to just, pack up, put all your investment into these tours. But like for you, it's really paying off. So how did you get a hold of, with the guy, you went to Miami, was it?
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about that experience. How did you set that up?
With the Farbstein brothers, I did two on that trip, actually, back to back. Super tiring. I don't know if I'll do that again. Actually, through my partners, through Ernesto and Anthony. It's actually good friends of theirs. Super reputable guys out there. They crush it out in Miami. So they had a $12 million unit in the Ritz-Carlton. And now they're like lifelong friends of mine too, which is awesome. Best guys in the world, man.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. So my first time actually meeting them. And that was such a cool experience. And then actually the realtor who had sold me my property in Florida, I said, let's do a thing too. So he picked one of their nicest properties in their inventory for their short-term rental portfolio. We toured that and did the podcast with him. So just spoke on the story of how he cold DM'd me and how he got my business.
Yeah.
And how I bought a house through him, which is pretty cool.
So that's how that happened?
Yeah.
Were you actively looking when he DM'd you? Or?
No, he just DM'd me and he's like, hey man, I see you do Airbnb stuff. So do I. Out of Miami, here's some numbers. I was like, okay, these numbers aren't bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Florida market super quick, because I had a very interesting offer. Was 2 weeks ago. I got because our team is expanding and we're in Muskoka and whatnot. And I just threw it out there. I'm like, hey, who wants to be a part of this? Because we're growing. Somebody's like, how about Florida? I'm like, wow, that's an interesting conversation. We're seeing a lot of people go out there right now. So I was like, send me some numbers. And, he's going over commercial units, large apartment complexes that are affordable, like crazy affordable. And then I'm like, yeah, but you buy this one, who's going to go rent that out? They're like, he's like, Andrew, no matter where you are, you don't have to be on the ocean or even close to it to get a decent return.
For sure.
So is that something that you're going to explore more? Maybe look at a second, third, fourth?
You know what? The way things are going right now, hell yeah. Because slow start in the beginning.
Right.
And Sam just stayed there. He loved it. But it's been picking up now that it has some credibility. It has some reviews. People are seeing that it's booked off. So like, okay, if people are staying there, let's check it out. And the numbers are rolling in, man. Like the returns are fantastic. They're exceeding our expectations so far. We went in with conservative projections.
Yep.
So far, we're hitting higher, which is great.
Good.
And we're only 3 months in, right? So just gonna keep hoping that the ball keeps rolling positively.
Good. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
So how important is, because you've done a really good job like with the design aspects. So how do you think that's kind of helps play a part? You think people are more likely to book or spend more for a place that actually is presented just as if you would present your listing here in Toronto?
That's where we have a little bit of an advantage. But yes, 100%. There's a thing called it's trending now. It's Airbnb bust. People are like, oh, it's not working anymore. People are losing money. So it all depends on the area. Florida is a very saturated market.
Yep.
So it is, you can bust down there because in my area, for example, in my immediate area, there's about 860 other listings.
Holy
right? So like it's saturation. So the units and the types of homes that are doing well are the ones that are creating experiences, right? So we themed our house.
Yep.
So it's called Villa Vuitton. We have a feature wall with Louis Vuitton.
Yep.
Logo and all that, and we're just kind of creating like a vibe and experience. And now we're automatically differentiating ourselves from the average house out there. And the homes that are killing it, like beyond like pulling in like crazy numbers, are the ones providing experiences. Those A-frame homes, those little cabins where you can go on date night.
Yeah.
Something where the guest can go and actually have an experience.
Right.
And that's what's doing really well in the Airbnb market right now.
Okay. That's awesome. And maybe something that's what I like to call Instagrammable.
Definitely Instagrammable.
Right.
Especially that wall.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
you got a pool table and everything too?
Pool table. One of our guests, they hit us up because she's doing a launch party there for a business.
Wow.
Go ahead. Right?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so do you also combine with like, I mean, this is still early in your Airbnb tendency there, but is there like an option to maybe collaborate with businesses down there, offer type of, like you said, experiences, surf lessons? I don't know.
Yeah, for 100%. I think, and that comes down to the property management too, and their connections and their ties.
True.
Right now, organically, it's doing phenomenal, but I also started a property management company too in Toronto for short term.
You
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's called Passivity Property Management.
Nice.
You guys have an Airbnb rental, hit me up. But
Just in Toronto so far?
just in Toronto so far. My partner's out in like all the different international spaces right now already, trying to lock in deals, and we're just going to subcontract as we go. But the main hub right now, our foundation is built in Toronto, and then we're going to branch off into Florida more too.
I love that.
But yeah, like our operations guy is all in on collabing with businesses. I think it is very important because again, it ties into the experience.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Because I've got my place in Costa Rica. It's not finished yet.
Yeah.
But the developer, this is on a different kind of level, but the developer has purchased 2 different sites.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're finished, one's going to look like a normal hotel resort.
Yeah.
One's going to look like more luxury villa.
Yeah.
And then there's mine, which is kind of a mix of both. No
Nice.
high rise. So you're going to have access to all 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could do tours. You could do volcano guiding.
Yeah.
Pet a monkey. I don't know. I just made
Pet
that
a
up.
monkey.
But
Yeah.
you know,
It's an experience.
you could see where it's going.
Of course, I love petting monkeys.
So I think that, you know, providing those experiences is going to be key for a healthy and strong, you know, business. But so are reviews actually that important? I guess if you're going up against like 800 other ones, because I was watching your story, I'm like, you know, as the listing gains traction and notoriety, I just thought maybe you could get one and just throw it up.
You can, but you have that like
I guess you can do anything you want.
you have that period where you're not gonna have any reviews, and you have people are looking at it like you're taking your family down there.
Yeah,
you're likely gonna want to book a spot for a week with a family that's 4 to 5 stars. Everyone's raving about it. It gives you that sense of comfort, like you know what you're getting into, versus like here's a new one, looks good, but pictures versus reality, is it worth the risk?
Right.
So that's where like that buffer period is in the beginning, where you're gonna have those skeptics. But once you have those reviews come in, then people can say, okay, looks great. What are people saying? They're saying it's great. I'm gonna book it.
So, do you have an Instagram account for the?
No, we're gonna make it.
You're gonna make it, right?
Yeah.
Is that important too? Can you link it to Airbnb?
Yeah, you 100%.
Yeah.
It's just it's another funnel.
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so switching gears from the Airbnb side of things, but let's just still talk about travel. Why not?
Sure.
Hot locations.
Yeah.
You go away a lot.
I do.
But a lot of it isn't like your average vacation.
Yep.
Right. You do a lot of spiritual things.
Yep.
A lot of what do you call them? Like getaway? What do you
meditating for 84 hours straight?
You did that?
No chance.
Jesus Christ! I was gonna say no, but like I think when I first met you, and we could talk about fitness too. I think when I first met you, even online, it was before your like, because I think you had just hired your personal trainer like what, 2 years ago or something?
Yes.
Unless I'm completely wrong.
You're in a bit, yeah.
Right. So how do these getaways, kind of help with your business, your fitness, your overall mental health?
Yeah. Well, I'm a massive self-development advocate. Like
Yeah.
since I was 19, changed my life, I was going down one path where it's all I knew, like many people out there.
Yep.
You don't have the exposure or the you just don't know that there's other options unless you search for it on your own. So some people are just like, you're kind of told what to do. You grow up in your environment and you kind of just end up doing that same thing. So just because of the impact self-development's had with me in terms of the podcasts I've listened to and continue to listen to, the books I've read, the mentors I've had, the coaches I've had, I'm just hooked, man. So my goal is just become the best version of myself, So some of these trips, they're retreats, and they're self-development focused, networking focused, masterminding. It's like you just take 10 to 12 random people, different walks of life, different businesses, and they're all coming from one goal, just to be better human beings, and you end up becoming family with them.
Yeah.
You're taken through all sorts of different types of workshops. I'll shout it out. It's called the Alive Life. It's an amazing experience.
Alive Life?
The Alive Life.
Nice.
And different workshops, different coaches. It's a deep dive, can get emotional, can get super hype, but you'd come back feeling like $1 million, especially if you go in with the proper intention of what you're trying to get out of it.
Right.
You learn a lot about yourself, and I've done it twice now. I feel like each time I've just come back a better man, for myself, my partner, my family, for everyone, and my business.
And so that's what I was going to say. How does how does that translate into a better working environment for yourself?
I mean, I'm just I want to be a leader. Like, I feel like I'm already in that role right now. Like, I'm developing a team this year, and I want to be able to provide them with knowledge. I want to be able to teach them things. And I feel like true leaders should consistently work on themselves.
Right.
Right.
I agree.
How are you supposed to lead someone if you're not leading yourself?
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep becoming the best version of myself so I can give that best version to the people that are working with me, provide that good culture, provide that mentorship that I received. And in terms of getting business out of it too, that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Because you're in there, you're in a retreat setting for 7 days with these people, and you become super close with them. And they're going to trust you with a house after.
I agree.
Right.
And now are these retreats that you've been on, are these kind of people from all over the world? Are they?
Yeah.
Is it more Toronto based?
First one was more Toronto based. This one was a good chunk Toronto, a lot of Americans. Then we had some Ukrainians. We had a girl from Kazakhstan. So like super like random.
Yeah, I love
we
that.
had some language barriers this year.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, even though we can't really hold a conversation down, you still have that bond beyond language.
Right.
Right. And they're still family to me, even though I can't really sit down with them and have a full-blown conversation.
Right.
We still shared the same experiences. We still got hit and connected at a different level, So
I like that. And I could see any ayahuasca going down
no
in there?
Ayahuasca.
No ayahuasca.
No.
Okay. This is
could be on the future list though.
I feel like this is a Joe Rogan episode.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
No DMT.
Yeah. So, you want to start a team. That's kind of some of your goals in this year?
Yep.
What's kind of because people always ask me this question, so I'm going to ask you this question because it's kind of different for everybody. When did you know, or when did you decide, what instances happened in your business that maybe triggered it, that you wanted to start a team?
Well, I mean, so I have no business background at all.
Right.
So I kind of winged real estate, hopped in the deep end. I studied history, like I didn't know anything. I didn't know what an interest rate was, right? So just like
I still don't know.
Yeah, me either. So totally winged my career. And as I've progressed, I start to look at people like yourself and the people who've done well in terms of scaling, right? And powers and numbers. You can't do everything yourself.
I agree.
I've been a solo agent for 6 years. Wow. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to grow with others. I want to be around good people, and I want to win with other people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that just naturally comes in the start with building a team now, and I want to do it in a way where it's done properly. As speaking to a lot of people who have teams, and I've seen what they their failures. I've seen what they don't like. I've seen what they would do if they could start over again. I'm trying to really take note of all that.
Yep.
And apply that into my journey. Obviously, I got to make my own mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I got to learn as I go, but trying my best to hit it right the first time.
So it seems to me that because it's for me to be able to work on myself effectively without having the business crashing and burning.
Yep.
Because those, personal developments, for example, you take a trip for a week,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do that, especially for your other things that you've got going on with your podcast and the tours, if you do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times out of the year, there's potentially 5, 6, 7 weeks of the year that you could potentially be losing business.
Yep.
However, once you start, finding out who can help you from not crashing and burning, and not necessarily how, so who, not how, I think that's when things start to come into fruition for you in terms of a leader to say, look, I've got clients, they're not going to fall by the wayside because now I'm starting a team.
Yeah.
And they can win and learn and educate from my existing database and taking over from those experiences. So how important is it then? Because here's the thing, when I first started too, is that I didn't have the resources.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I know I wanted to start a team, but I'm so friggin' swamped. And this was to my detriment, by the way. I was so swamped that all I really wanted was just buyer agents that could take my overflow.
Yes.
I didn't realize that was a common thing that busier agents said. Oh, I just want to hire an agent to cover my overflow.
Yeah.
So that's not even a team, right? And then as you get into it, you're starting to work on the development of actually what a team is, because you can't survive with just people. I mean, I guess you can. There's probably top agents that do. So where I'm going with this is that how are you finding or developing the systems in which you need to help start a team? Now, is that something that you're pulling from a new resource? I think you might know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Or what is important to you? Is it something that maybe you're getting from your new relationship?
I think, it's a combination of two. So I did just join EXP.
There we go.
Okay, big announcement.
There's the bomb.
Big announcement.
So won't be out for a couple of weeks anyway. So
That's fine.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, it's a massive switch for me. It was the hardest thing I had to do ever, because I had to leave behind. Well, I don't want to use the word behind, but I had to leave the office where I was at, which was like my family,
Yeah, it's always hard.
But the benefits of, I just love the scalability of this brokerage because I am traveling and hitting up different parts internationally. I feel like I'm able to network with all these other agents and, maybe even build some relationships with them along the way.
Yep.
It all intertwines, right? But in terms of the team, I am going very traditional. So I do want to have the proper business model built out, which I've done a lot of research on. I have really good mentors on that as well.
Right.
Which includes the lead gen, ISAs, the appointment setting, proper training for all these agents. Like whoever's with me, I want them to be a certain caliber, right? And we're all going to work on it together. You know what I mean? And when it comes to, if I do have to leave, I'm huge on expectation setting. So people aren't hiring me, they're hiring the team. So
Right.
whether it's me or John or Bill, they're getting the same service, right? And I want that white glove service I want to provide. The benefit of EXP, as you know, is they do offer rev share as an additional stream of income, which is cool because all the agents can benefit from that. I don't necessarily have to take off the top from them right off the bat because the company pays me on the back end. So I do see that as a bonus as well. And you know what? At the end of the day, if they still want my mentorship and they want to have their own brand and go do their own thing, they can go do it and they can fly, and I'll still help them forever.
And where I was kind of going with, the resources and all that is exactly what you said. Is like, if you're going to be setting expectations is huge, but if you're going to be traveling, it's like your team, especially in the infancy stage, needs that support. And, I know that EXP, and especially if you're talking about mentors, I probably know who you're talking about. And I know that they have a really solid education system in there too, right?
Yep. All built in.
Right.
Ready to
and
go.
Is that's something that your team could access at any point?
Right away. Full courses.
Right.
Yeah. So if they have in-person training
every
every week, So if you want to go to the office, be amongst the culture and learn, you can. If you want to just be at home and learn online, all the resources are there. So it's like a really cool plug and play system that's already existing. Obviously, it takes a lot off my shoulders, allows me to focus on my core group. If they want to go and get that external education, they can. It's there, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, Matt was busy today, I really wanted to learn this. It's like, because Matt was busy today, I got to watch course 1, 2, 3 and still learn. So it's I feel like it's just in terms of efficiency and like growing at a faster rate, it solves a lot of problems.
I agree.
In my opinion.
No, I love that. And the fact that, if you're traveling, right, you're in Miami, you're in California, you're in New York, you have access to an incredibly large database, especially in our line of work, and especially if you're going there to do these tours, hit up agents. Like, that's a really cool initiative to have that kind of global reach with other realtors that could potentially join your team.
For sure.
If I understand correctly, they could all, doesn't matter where in the world, they can join your team,
exactly.
right?
And we have intentions of scaling in Florida, like loving the place, just like you guys are talking to.
Yep.
Like, it's just a market that's hot right now. A lot of our developers are going down there and building.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Nick,
Spark
Financial,
Financial
just opened up their own Florida division. So the trend is going there. You know what I mean? So it's like something's going on, right? And it's good to look into it, right? And something like this will allow me that scalability to go down there and build without even being necessarily licensed. That would be a goal, but I don't have to be right off the bat.
Right, and which is interesting because I'm looking at the logistics of how we would do it. I mean, would I get myself into a Revel franchise?
Yep.
Would I align myself with somebody who is obviously local there, but somebody who's born there, has citizenship there, who's a realtor? Because, obviously with referrals, there's way to work around all of that. But it just seems like with kind of your method as of stands right now, it's going to be, maybe not straightforward. There's going to be some learning curves for you, but at least the process and the systems are there.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Okay, so now the other thing, and this is, just two guys talking here.
Two guys, yeah.
You're in great shape.
Thank you.
Like, very good shape.
Thanks, man.
Was this something that has always been important to you, fitness?
Yes. So that goes right into the whole mental thing we spoke about earlier.
Yep.
I was the scrawniest kid growing up. Was made fun of. I played hockey my whole life, but I was always a tiny kid. Defense, I could hit.
Yeah.
But I was always the lowest in weight. I was second lightest in my gym class for wrestling.
Yep.
Grade 10. I was 5'2" until about grade 10. So I had all my spurts came late, right? So for me, I used to play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And my friends used to chirp me on there. They didn't even see me. They used to call me like, go eat something because you're small. These are my boys, but whatever. So I would do 4 push-ups in between each search and destroy round because that's all I could do.
Yeah.
4 push-ups. But fitness became a massive thing for me in grade 10 because of all this. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show all these people.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to get bigger. I'm going to put on some weight. I'm going to go from 115 to 130. And fitness just became my life, man. So because of what it did to my confidence, to my image, to everything, it's just become such an important piece of my life. And the amount of business I received by just going to the gym, my entire barber clientele base was came from the gym. So I had over 200 clients that are coming to me consistently, and these are all my gym friends.
Yep.
Then that turned into us going out into social events together, whether it's a party or a music festival. I'm always with the same crew, and we all kind of from the gym. Met my ex-girlfriend at the gym, just an example.
Right.
Just like things, the impact that it's had on my life and relationships and everything.
Right.
So fast forward, now I've hit, I've reached a goal which I love, and I love the way everything's working for me in terms of how I look and feel and my mind, and it's become a crucial part, non-negotiable part of my morning routine.
Yeah.
So I'm there every single morning. Great start to the day, and again, it's just like it's networking there. It's the sauna there. A lot of business in the sauna. I talk about this all the time too. You look good. You feel good. You're gonna go about your day, and you're gonna carry that with you. So
let's talk about how it also triggers, a healthy lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
You know, the more you work out, the more you see the results, maybe the better you're eating and the better you're taking care of yourself.
For sure.
Yeah. Which must be hard in Toronto with a bunch of clubs
and I
stuff to
cut
do.
that off, man. And I
Yeah.
set priorities recently, and I don't really care to be in those environments anymore. Although I got a lot of business from those environments.
Of course.
There's other alternatives now where I can still go and be in a social setting without getting plastered and killing my next 3 days and that all compounds, right? So, you know, I want to show up as the best version of me. Like I said earlier, that's just my overall goal every single day.
Yeah.
Being the best version of Matt, and people can see that. I want to be that. I want to show up, lead by example. When I go meet my clients, they're like, okay, this guy, I feel like I could trust this guy. He kind of works hard in all areas of life.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like he's going to have my back.
And is that kind of what you think has helped contribute to some of the, you know, high earners, for example, I mean, you met Ryan Serhant.
Yeah.
You got to interview him on your podcast. You know, do you think that plays a big role, you know, having that confidence, having that overall, like your Instagram's amazing, and not just because you have your shirt off, but, you know, from a confidence standpoint?
100%, man.
Yeah.
Hell
How
yeah.
did that happen, by the way? How did you?
Ryan Serhant?
Yeah.
Justin Conocow. Shout you out all the time, buddy.
Who?
Justin Conocow.
Oh, Justin, my man.
He's a gem, man. I just got a random text one day. I was just sitting on the couch. This is not even a thing. It wasn't even a thing. He's like, Matt, have you got Ryan on your podcast yet? I'm like, Ryan who? He's like, Serhant. I'm like, obviously not. He's like, okay, give me a bit. And then an hour later, he's like, he's in. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he's in. I'm like, all right. He's like, check your email. And then bang, just in an email thread. And then the email invite was sent. And I'm like, is this, I called him. I said, for sure though? Like, this is happening? He's like, 100%, man. So Justin, man, he is the reason. I mean, I feel like I did manifest the shit out of that myself.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
You know, I have a whole manifestation story behind that. And that's just, and Justin's just a piece of that.
Yeah.
But what an experience. And Ryan's my idol, man. Like, just everything he does, the way, like, his fitness journey, his business journey, his
whole story,
history, everything.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. So.
Well, it's not easy to make it in a city, well, Toronto for one, but New York City, just with quadruple the amount of people, quadruple the amount of
He's
realtors.
not even from there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, see, hey, I'm glad you brought this up. I know we don't have a ton of time left, but you know, because I didn't grow up in Niagara.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, my biggest piece of advice to any realtor out there is that, look, if you are either new to an area, you're new to the business, or you don't have a lot of market share, stop promoting yourself to locals. Stop it. Like, what's the point? They know that your sign isn't in the ground. You know, they know that your market share isn't there yet. So that's how I got my business, is I was promoting a lot to other realtors out of Toronto, out of realtors out in Barrie, North Bay, even to the States, and creating those relationships with not only buyers and sellers, but more importantly, the other realtors. But even now that I'm on a level, because it's more expensive to advertise to buyers and sellers than it is to other realtors, I'll tell you that. But now I'm in a position where I'm actively promoting our team to Toronto. And Oakville and other places, where it's like, meet the team, meet the guy who's moving Torontonians to wine country or cottage country. So I love that you said that. It's because it's interesting where how a lot of these successful people are those who don't have any type of database in their new market. So what do you think is going to be, you know, in your personal opinion, what do you think is going to be a big way for maybe a realtor to become successful in 2023?
I think it's going to be a combination of two major pillars. It's going to be traditional real estate. So you're prospecting, you're plugging away. That never has to stop. Network like a motherfucker. I'll swear. Seriously though, wherever it takes, like the gym, the sauna, go out for dinners, like just talk to everyone, talk to more people, 3 people a day. And then social media, right? It's a combination of, you're gonna have those conversations with people, then you leave them with something. What are you leaving with? Instagram. Add me. Now, instead of leaving them with nothing, and they're impacted in that hour with a conversation of you, and they leave, they'll probably likely forget about you, because guess what? Andrew's popping up on their feed. Matt's popping up on their feed. Poor Billy, who just, you know, spent the whole hour with them. Right? So if now Billy's also on social media. Now John left this meeting with Billy. Next day, bang, sees Billy's post. Like, oh, okay, let's actually see what this Billy guy's doing. Like, he talked a good game. Let's see what he's actually doing. And the next day, Billy's up there again. And he's up there again. So when John is looking to actually sell his house in 6 months and Billy's consistently on his feet and top of mind, you know, that's going to work well for Billy. That's going to be a potential deal right there and get him through the door. So I think it's it's 100% the combination of the traditional real estate, because you can, on the other side, you can post all day and then do no sort of prospecting, no sort of like money making activities. And, you know, why is someone just going to call you out of the blue? Right. So I think real estate agents out there, network, be in rooms every single day, new rooms, new faces, new people, have conversations, whatever sort of prospecting you like, try it out, do it, find what works for you. For me, it was the gym. Yeah. And then pump the shit out of social media. Put your true, authentic self out there.
I love it.
And that's it.
And I find that, you know, I always say that if you're doing something that it revolves around a passion of yours, you're more likely to follow through with it.
100%.
So, all right, man. So that's it. Thanks for coming on the show. I always do, you know, a plug to end out the show. So let people know where they can find you. If they want to potentially join your team. Do you have a name yet?
You know what? Working on it.
It's
Make
it big,
there,
right?
but like, not ready to release it. Yeah, like it's pretty much there.
But honestly, I think that anybody who's going to join your team is going to have a tremendous amount of value from their leader. They're going to know exactly just those two pillars alone. If you can help people understand that, you're going to be successful and they're going to be successful.
Exactly. So we'll all eat together.
Yes. So plug.
So personal Instagram at Matt Campoli, MattCampoli. Podcast pages at Price to Sell Podcast, all things real estate. And then pretty much all the plugs for now. Oh, if you want to check out all the tours, it's at Field Trips on YouTube. Those are all the video tours we do with those agents in Miami, Bahamas, etc. That's pretty much it. That's all I got for plugging. I love my cat, Spro. Plug him in. So,
all right, dude. Well,
that's it.
Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate it, buddy. Much for having me, buddy.
No, we do. We pound here.
That's a far reach.
Well, see? I told you. Something's up with the set. All right. Peace out, guys.
Thank you.